All right, cool. Let's do the quick highlight reel and go over our top items and before we dive deeply into them. Cool. So we got our upcoming meeting with Jay Soloft. Thank you again to Wani for getting us connected with him. And this will be happening on next Saturday on the 20th, Saturday morning, 9 to 12 a.m. And we're finalizing the description, but I stole the text between Dennis, Jay, and I. So the topic will be on volatility trading and using Ivy and other indicators to find different strategies, yada yada. Let's see. And here's his bio, in case you're not familiar with his work. And then I found a good YouTube clip online of our favorite Bernstein with Mr. Jay Soloff at the Money Show from a couple years ago. So just a quick little intro if you're not familiar with his work. So that's pretty cool. And then,
Hey Warren,
Mhm.
can you post that link of that YouTube video of Bernstein and Jay?
Oh yeah, sure, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Let me get it in for you guys.
And is there a link? Is there a link I can send to my other group?
You can send them just maybe the calendar link, and we're working on the back end to finish the listing here. But yeah,
Okay, so I can send that link to the other group. Okay. And they
yeah,
can register and pay and all that. Okay.
it's not finished yet, but yeah, but just tell them to hold the date at least.
Also cannot register and pay yet, right?
Yeah, because the page isn't finished yet.
Oh, okay.
Dennis hasn't done that yet. Mhm. Okay. Well, welcome, Dave. And let's see. We have a short, funny idiot of the week. We'll go over our market overview, of course. We got AAII sentiment data to look at. We'll look at our fear and greed index and look at a couple different measures there. And then, of course, we'll talk about the Traders Almanac and look at January's readouts. I don't have my copy handy, so we'll skip the discussion for February and save it for next week. And of course, we'll look at sector rotation and especially the 11 subsectors that make up the S&P 500. Not quite earnings season yet, but we'll see if there's anything bubbling up. We'll take a look. We'll take a look at Wall Street bets and see what the kids are trading these days, and then lots of things in our news cycle. We'll look at the fresh CPI prints, and then we'll also take a look at as Flav mentioned, we'll take the recent 30-year bond sale. We'll definitely take a look at the Bitcoin ETF and the details there. And holy cow, Coinbase comes out as a custodian for 8 of the 11 ETFs, and that's going to be kind of nuts. So yeah, 8 of the 11. So
Getting paid.
yeah, lots of domestic news to go over, a lot of layoff data. So we'll take a look at that. And then we got beef updates from the Midwest, and we'll definitely talk a lot about airplanes. So yeah, all kinds of shenanigans there. And I'm a new fan of Airbus. So yeah, good times. And then we'll take a look at what's happening of shenanigans in New York. And then we'll talk about the Hotel California wealth tax in California that's coming down the pipeline. And they call it Hotel California because of the iconic line in the last verse of the famous song by the Eagles, which was you can check out anytime you want, but you can never leave. So that will apply to ex-residents as well that have relocated to greener pastures. More Boeing stuff, of course. A little bit out of order. I'll fix that in just a second. But yeah, we'll look at the current boost in corporate profits, as well as taking a look at or continuing a conversation from last week on the dating apps and how we can play that. We'll also take a look at the Michigan Manheim Index and look at car values in today's market. And then I built the watch list from last time where we called 007. So I'll show you guys that once we get there. And then pivoting to real estate, office vacancies are hitting a record high in multiple US cities. And we'll take a look at REITs and how we can play this potentially. And this kind of is a throwback to our 2020 trading days when Simon Property Group was getting stiffed on rent by major anchor tenants like Gap and whatnot. And then pivoting to tech news, got some cool EV updates. And ChatGPT will be installed in a couple new Volkswagen models. And not only that, but uh, for the self-driving variety of cars like the Ford Lightning EV edition, if you miss your payments, the cars will just repo themselves, which is fun. And then pivoting to labor, Tesla is going to give a nice pay rise to all US workers and the stock tumbles. So we'll take a close look at that. And then pivoting to international news, a lot of things happening. Thank you, Linda, for sending me the update from France on the newest and youngest PM that's 34 years old. So we'll take a look at him. This is fresh off this morning's news. Um, um, the Shiite Muslim factions have taken over an oil tanker in the Gulf of Oman. So exciting news. We'll take a look at the Japanese yen, which has been collapsing nonstop for the last several months. And we'll see what the charts looks like there. And we'll also take a look at oil supertanker rates and see how the Korean Peninsula is affecting that. We'll also take a look at the German situation that's teaming up with between like the truckers and the farmers, kind of like in the Canadian situation in Ottawa from last year. So we'll take a look at that. And it's hilarious that I think in France they're spraying poop on the legislative buildings. That's amazing. So good times. And then we'll pivot to commodities, of course, and take a closer look at uranium. And that chart is amazing. So we should take a glance at that. We'll see what's happening with the Cubanos and their current fuel crisis. And in the gold markets, we'll take a look at what's shaping up in the south with Texas, and of course China news. Lots and lots of headlines. I had too many, so I listed it as a bullet form like our last 2 weeks. So too many things, but let me just point out the highlights. There's a lot of jobless people, so no surprises there. We have better economic data. 1 billion people live off less than $300 a month. And Beijing's bragging about the potential ability to crack airdrop deliveries, which was used in the 2019 Hong Kong protests, if you guys remember that. And a German budget supermarket, Yede, has pulled out of China. So this is after some other titans have left, such as Walmart is phasing out their last couple of stores. I think Carrefour is already done. So pretty serious. We'll take a look at the Chinese stock market, specifically the Shanghai Composite. But yeah, China stocks in general are at a 5-year low, and that will continue. We'll take a closer look at the CCP's rocket force shenanigans, and it's quite mutinous there and dismal. And we'll take a look at why. Jack Ma's in trouble for sure. And we'll take a look at Alibaba stock. And our former defense secretary has supposedly defected to the US or is in the process of doing that. So we should have some interesting intel to that. And we might be reaching the end of the Beijing liquidity situation if they can't even pay their soldiers. So once the police officers and soldiers are getting stiffed their wages, things will go to hell pretty quickly. So we'll take a look at those topics and see what the trade is. And some other key stuff. I got some good FDI inflow data here. We'll take a look at that. And we'll look at the Taiwan election as well as a lot of talk on an invasion plan. So it looks like it's slated for March because of the tides in the Taiwan Strait. So we'll take a look at a potential March or October landing, supposedly. And we have some related news between Korea and Japan. I'll take a look at that as well and how that affects Asia. And that's all I got for you guys overall. So a little bit more concise than last week. This is only a 33-page document versus the 60-pager last week. And let's see what we got in the comments. Oh yeah, here's the ETFs. Thank you, Kurt. And um, okay, awesome. All right, and welcome Alan and KS. We got, I think all the time zones represented, maybe except Alaska here. Okay. All right. Cool. Um, all right, let's go to the charts. And let's start for overview. All right, let's look at ES, down 0.5% at the moment. Slightly improving, but we'll see how that shapes up. Let's go to the analytics. All right. All right. Yeah, so look at the put call ratio. In case you're new to this, we like to look at the ratio between bearish and bullish contracts to just kind of get a snapshot glance of where everyone is wagering their money. And fair value for the ES is about 1.4. And today's a little bit more optimistic. Let's see, deltas are a little bit aggressive on the low delta side, and we'll keep our eye on that. Let's pivot to the big boy option contracts with SPX, and let's see how that's shaking up. All right, 1.202. This is usually also likes to sit at the 1.4 value. Deltas here at the low probability rates of 0 to 20 is a little bit less aggressive than the future side. And if we pivot to the retail side of the S&P 500 with SPY, we should see a little bit more optimism. So we're expecting a number around 1.0. And today is no exception. We're at 1.1. So also you can see in the Hail Mary delta of 0 to 20, it's stacked a little bit lower as well at 38%. And let's pivot to the NASDAQ and see how the tech sector is shaking up. And as you recall from our sector rotation conversations the last several weeks, tech is leading the wave and carrying the market on its shoulders. And yeah, we're seeing 1.3. It's generally about average. And yeah, some notable optimism here with the spread of the deltas as well. And let's go to the schizophrenic index of them all, which is the Russell 2000. It loves to overreact, and today is no exception. It's making a 2x move compared to the S&P 500. And let's see how everyone's wagering their money. This usually lives like at the 2.3 range on the put call ratio. But yeah, today we're seeing extreme optimism. So I guess folks are buying a dip somewhat. If we look at on balance volume, do we see confirmation of that? Um, it's above the zero line for sure, in terms of net inflows. Um, but yeah, could be better. It's been bigger before. And let's look at the last index we like to consider, which is the diamonds. This is typically extremely optimistic. Looks like today is an exception, but overall this is very thinly traded, so we don't have to read into it too deeply. But just take a note that something's off here compared to its other cousins. And with that, we got to take a look at the VIX and see how it's performing. And still, it's 12 years. It's a 12 value, and on the charts, gosh, it's been staying under 13, 14 for a long time, and only pops its head out for brief moments of time. And we're still trading below the 500-day and 200-day moving average like crazy. All right, and considering all the geopolitical risk in the world, this is nuts. All right. Oh, we've got to run our poll. Pardon me. Let me start our poll. If you guys could please give us your prediction for the S&P 500 by next Thursday, let us know what that looks like. And you should see the poll on your screen. And for everyone else that's coming in, let me re-upload the notes in case you guys didn't get that. There's a Google Doc version as well as the PDF. So let me upload both. All right. Give you guys a couple more seconds to finish our poll. There we go, 7 people. Okay, cool. All right, let me share the results. All right, we got a good mixed bag. So we got 29% of our audience considers the market to be bullish by next week, 43% sideways, and 29% bearish. All right, and we'll take a look if these numbers have changed by the end of our session. So should be fun. And let's see what our fellow traders at the This acronym is always tricky. The American Association of Individual Investors. Let's see what they're thinking. All right, so for this week, looks like 48.6% are bullish, 27.2% are neutral, 24.2% are bearish. So we're pacing last week fairly closely. And yeah, cool. And let's now go to the CNN Fear and Greed Index. Just on the general aggregate, they're calling it a 72. It's been pretty high. And let's see. Um, So we'll skip the 125-day MA. I'm not a fan of that. But in terms of overall, let's see, stock price strength, we're seeing this pitch near the top here. So this is compared number of stocks at its 52-week high compared to the lows. And we're seeing more highs than lows here. So high greediness. And looking at stock price breadth with the McKellen Volume Index, this also gives us another snapshot. And I guess in a way, this is kind of like the median value in a way. Not quite, but similarly. And we're also seeing signs of greed here. And we've already talked about the put call ratio. This is still fairly low at 0.8. And historically, like a COVID type event or like late 2019 was north of 2. So we're still far away from that. And the knife or the dagger that's falling is not quite falling yet. And we looked at VIX just a second ago, and yeah, still very subdued and drastically undervalued, considering all the geopolitical risk. And let's see, we'll talk about bonds in just a second. But yeah, let's see, junk yields are also indicating some potential greed. So yeah, we'll take a look at the bond markets a little bit closer in our next section, or next couple of sections. All right. And of course, we love to look at the Stock Trader Trader's Almanac. And let's look at the January readout. So let's see. January's barometer predicts the year's course with a 0.743 batting average. 14 of the last 17 post-presidential election years have followed January's direction. Every down January on the S&P since 1950, without exception, has preceded a new or extended bear market, a flat market, or a 10% correction. S&P's gains January's sorry, S&P's gains in January's first 5 days preceded a full year's gains 82.2% of the time in 13 of the last 17 post-presidential election years followed the first 5 days direction. November, December, and January constitute the year's best 3-month span, a 4.2% S&P gain, and January NASDAQ powerful 2.8% since 1971. And the January effect now starts in mid-December and favors small cap stocks. And 2009 has a dubious honor of the worst S&P 500 January on record. And the Dow gained 1,000 points in 18 and 2019. Awesome. So lots of important tidbits there. Let's double check the Russell 2000 mention and see if that trend is holding up. And the first week of trading was pretty bloody actually. So if the almanac is any clue, then we're kind of toast for the year, which is good for all of the bearish traders, I guess. All right, let's see. So let's zoom in a little bit. So what was the readout? Mid-December to January, Russell 2000 will do well. So here's the midpoint of January. We're trading below that. So we've kind of broken that trend. So Russell 2000 might be in trouble. But we're still seeing some inflows. It is slowing down though. But if it crosses the zero line, then I would potentially suggest that it's in a serious bearish pattern. But we'll see. Let's go back to our notes. Cool. Sector rotation time. All right, let's look at the 11 subsectors. And if everyone wants to we can also do individual stocks in just a second as well. So here we have a 5-week tail on these different subsectors, and we have our nice different quadrants. We got improving, leading, weakening, and lagging. And if we go to the table view first, by the way, this is slightly stale data from the 8th, but not too off, but yeah. Let's see. Oil and energy stocks are sucking canal water here. Leading the wave is healthcare, real estate, domestic financials, communication, consumer staples. And it looks at our boy XLK, the tech sector is slowing down. So do we see that in the charts? Yeah. So the bigger the tail, the bigger the week to week change. So yeah, so oil and energy is not doing well here, as you can see. Real estate is making some gains. Um, should it be? That's a different question, but we'll take a closer look at the occupancy rates, especially for office space, and see how that's shaken up. But yeah, tech gains are slowing down here. So um, yeah. And let's load up our last individual tickers. Does anyone have anything they want to add here? Let's load the last couple. Let's see what this
You
is.
want to add any of the new Bitcoin ETFs?
Oh yeah. Let's go to that list.
But they may not have
They're not going
anything.
to rotate yet.
No,
Oh
not
yeah,
yet.
it's a one dot. Okay, let me just put one dot at a time. Let's see
Not
what
even one dot because it's Monday.
it's my uh oh, there's some action. It's undefined. I don't know. Okay. Okay, we'll have to save that for next week. All right. But we can look at the other proxies for crypto. Let's see. Let's see. We got Mara, Riot. Um, let's see.
MSTR.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's go to table view. We got Grayscale. Da, 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 da. Wait, we had more than just this. We got MicroStrategies. Um, yeah, but it's definitely on the upwave. Let's see. Who's the number one leader here? I guess Mara would be the closest. Okay. I think we had a better one here. Let me see. Okay, does this one have all the proxies? Let me see. Here, let me just add it in. I think that's all the major ones. Oh, Coinbase, of course. Okay. All right, let's look at that. Okay. All right. So again, each chunk of the tail is 1 week. We got 5 week tails. We got Mara leading the wave, Coinbase, MicroStrategies, Bito here, Nippon Steel. Holy cow. We got Riot doing well. And for a long time, our buy now, pay later stocks were leading the wave. So they're still up there. We got Upstart here. Where's Affirm? It's somewhere here. Or did I not put it in this list? Oh, looks like it's not listed. Let's add Affirm and see what that is. Okay. Oh, thanks, Flav. Hut, Mara, Coin, Hut. Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. All right.
They're all crashing today. Why?
Yeah, I mean the
Yeah, they
release was
did.
so bizarre, right? On Twitter. We'll take a closer look at that. But yeah, it's not doing well. And a lot of
15%.
Yeah.
uh
There's a couple more, Clean Spark, CLSK, and Bitfarm. Those are also pretty
what
big.
what's
BITF.
okay, thank you, Wani.
F.
Yeah.
BITF.
Okay. Oh, right here. BITF and Clean Spark. Okay, perfect. This is great. Let me snap a photo and we include the notes. We can reference this potentially later. Okay, cool. All right. All right, going to the table view. Nippon Steel is kicking major ass, and then the cryptos. We got Nvidia here, AMD, Hut 8 Mining. Let's see. And then here's the SPY. And then what's not doing well? Let's see. At the bottom, yes, Riot, CleanSpark, MicroStrategies, Upstart, Tesla, Palantir, Mosaic, and then our smorgasbord of Chinese tech stocks. Okay. Yeah, a little underwhelming for today in the crypto market, but we'll take a look at the whole sector in just a bit. Any other individual tickers you guys want to look at?
How about Boeing
Oh,
and maybe
of course.
Japan Airlines?
Japan Airlines is public? What's the?
Well, I don't know if they are, but
Well, Spirit Air, you need Spirit Aero Systems too.
Spirit Aerosystems.
That's SPR.
Okay. All right. SPR. And Japan is oh, this is over the counter internet. Would this show up? Let me see.
By the way, guys, TD Ameritrade now charges to buy these kinds of stocks $51 a transaction. So if you were to buy if it ends in a Y or an F, foreign stocks,
Oh,
it's 51 bucks.
Is it really?
Yeah, 44 plus a $7 fee.
That's
What?
Schwab for you.
Just put foreign currency, foreign security fee, TD Ameritrade. Put 44, and there's a Reddit thread on it.
So if you
Yeah.
buy through Schwab, it's
The
less.
first one. I don't know, but look, 44 plus $7.
44 plus $7.
So you either buy it all at once or don't buy it at all.
wow.
Wow, that's expensive.
Ouch.
Used to be 15.
So Flavius, foreign stocks, meaning it's not the same as ADR then.
Yeah, they
Different
they
thing.
end in an F or a Y, and it's like 5 letters. So like that Japan one, I
Mhm.
think would fall. See,
Mhm.
it says F or Y. And
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and those are not in the ADR category.
I don't know. But
Wow, that's
could
expensive.
you? Oh, yes, I was just going to ask if you put that link in the chat.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you got it.
No, they're not ADRs.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, ADRs are mirrors of the stock, and they're on our market.
Mhm. All right, let's see where SPR and Japan Airlines showed up. Japan Airlines right here on the bottom, down 2%. It's all over the place. And where was the other one? SPR. Ooh, okay.
Well, it's a big.
Yeah. Let's see. Relatively, where is it? Oh, so much stuff here. Okay, Japan Airlines right here. SPR, where are you? Gosh. Well, it's not here. It's got to be in the middle somewhere also. Okay.
It looks like
Oh.
you can make groups. I don't know, but just looking at the UI, you might be able.
Boeing was somewhere near the bottom.
Boeing right here. BA right here. BA. Let's go to the what's the airline ETF? Jets?
Jet.
Domestic jets. So it was having a nice climb up from the holiday season. We had record travel numbers for Thanksgiving and Christmas, but it is softening now, and we're playing musical chairs with the 200 and 500-day moving average, which is converging, interestingly enough. And looking at inflows versus outflows, momentum-wise, it's still a net buying moment here, at least for the last I don't know, 2 months here. Okay.
I have
But
a question. I'm
yeah.
sorry. Is Airbus a publicly traded company? Airbus.
Yes, Airbus, it's not listed. They don't have a US ADR, I believe. I've looked this up before. Let's see. Airbus stock. Yeah, it's not on our exchange.
Yeah, so that's your A
Okay.
versus Y.
Yeah, I think only Linda can buy Airbus.
What's PA? For
uh,
France? PA.
Yeah, I believe it is.
Well, it said Paris, but
Yeah. Oh, that might be it. It looks like all the
but
other.
A would be one of your foreign stocks.
Yeah.
What? Dave, what did you say? What is PA?
It stands for the Paris
It
Exchange.
says Paris. If
the stock exchange,
Yeah.
Oh,
you have like the Germany ones and
Yeah, like the LV,
Tom.
Hennessy, like everything ends in PA. So I guess you just denotes which exchange. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think there's an Airbus ADR for us to play with. There is? Is there? Let me see.
PC.
Is this it? Oh,
There
I
is.
EADSY.
EADSY.
There's the Y again
Oh.
at the end.
Yeah. Extra fees. Okay. Are there options? Oh, there's no options. Oh, forget it. Okay. Yeah, I've looked this up before. Like you can't really trade it. So, but we can trade Boeing, and Boeing is gonna have some problems. Free fall and dojis. How's that for some indicators?
Well, free fall is
Not quite
entirely
free fall.
appropriate considering that
Oh,
door that blew off.
but the iPhone survived. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. But I was out and about in the exact area where all this debris fell, so that damn door could have landed on me.
Did you find anything in your neighborhood? Was there anything?
No,
Okay, that's
no.
nuts.
It's a few miles away from where I live.
Oh, okay. So if you didn't show up today, we could have maybe figured this out, maybe.
Yeah.
All right. That's crazy. All right, let's go back to our notes. Any other tickets you guys want to throw in here? We can always revisit this handy dandy sector rotation tool, of course. Okay, no worries. All right, let's I don't think we have any earnings, but let's double check. Okay, nothing really. Oh, these are tiny things. Probably garbage.
Should start on the 15th.
Huh?
I'm thinking they should start on the 15th. We should start having some serious volume.
Yeah, we're a little early. Okay. Okay, no worries. Let's take a look at swaggy stocks. And this is a great tool that we like to look at to gauge the sentiment of the cesspool of Reddit for what's called Wall Street bets. And instead of reading the post, this just looks at the sentiment data of everything as an aggregate. So we can at a glance see what all the kids are trading. And yeah, let's see. Lots of CPI talk, Nvidia, Tesla, Mara, of course, talking about corn, Bitcoin, the Qs, Microsoft, Coinbase, Apple, what's IBIT? Oil stuff, PPI stuff, AI stuff, Amazon, Spotify, Netflix, Russell 2000, Riot, Wendy's, Boeing, what's black? BLK? Huh? The inverse, NASDAQ, AMD, and Meta. What is black stock? Oh, BlackRock.
BlackRock, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Um,
I'm getting really beautiful curves on CL. So you know.
let's
I
take a-
got over $1, like $1.20. I am sitting in the trade right now.
Oh, beautiful. Do you like what's your typical strategy? Are you directional, non-directional?
Oh, I'm raw futures, so directional.
Okay, okay. Very cool. Oh, are we finding a bottom?
Yeah, I'm thinking of that exactly.
Nice. KS says, keep looking for the missing 4 bolts for the door. Yes. Okay. Well, I'm glad we have an Oregon correspondent for Boeing News, so we'll keep our eyes out there. And let's take a look at our first economic article of the day with the CPI print. And we'll have to look at the shadow stats as well to get a better sense of where this is actually lining up. Let's go to their inflation readout. Let me drop this in the chat. So yeah, the basic idea is that the CPI formula or the basket of consumables, they keep changing the formula to keep the value understated. And if you look at if you keep the formula the same, then you have to look at this blue line. and we are currently at about almost 8% versus what the current U.S. Bureau of Labor calls 3.4%. And for anyone that's actually shopping at the grocery store, these numbers are all pure garbage. It's more like, double-digit multiples, at least year over year. So let's see.
So, I noticed that anything that's instant basically went up a lot. Your instant pizzas, your burritos, and cans of soup.
Right, and those also contain a lot of like energy costs built into the product, which people don't understand.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
In any case, they very specifically, anything was instant went up massively, and a lot of the other foods didn't.
That's a fair point. And then does anyone know when COLA adjustments roll out for like Social Security and whatnot? Is that in January?
Yeah, I think it's January, but don't hold me to it.
Okay.
The numbers are already out.
Yeah, I'm
They
just
come out earlier.
Yeah,
Oh.
like last weeks of November, I think.
Okay, so they're calling it 3.2%. So, that's one of the reasons why the numbers are often understated. So that goes back to the original figure here. Yeah. 3.2 expected versus 3.4. Okay. And
So does that mean the Fed going to lower the rates?
oh no. So this number should go up year over year in this high inflationary environment. Is this outpacing real street, like Main Street inflation? This is drastically understated, relatively speaking. So, I mean, in general, if you're on fixed income, like you're gonna be hurt badly if we have
Even on a paycheck.
yeah, even paychecks.
Unless you got a rock star company, all your paychecks are tied to this COLA. It's
Yeah.
What the actual number should be
increase for
then? If
10
it's not
years in a row.
3.2.
horrible.
Yeah. Da, 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 da. But yeah, I think I think I'm gonna give my dog a title because his name Cola and just call him the anti-inflation poodle and give him that handle, I think. So that should be fun. All right, let's go to bonds and IOUs and take a look at that. Let's look at the 30-year bond sale. Or what's the futures for 30-year?
ZB
ZB.
or UB.
UB. Which
All
year?
the bonds. ZB is the one that I trade.
Okay. So UB is 30? 30 years.
It's 30 effective. It's
Okay.
considered a 40-year bond. Or
Oh.
I guess maybe whatever. It's ZB is considered a 30-year bond
Okay.
on all the charts and stuff, but it's really a 20, maybe 22.
Okay. Did you guys pick up any extra treasury swap? Let's see.
I just roll them when they expire, when they mature. Yeah.
Okay.
4.22.
Yeah, that's
What's the duration for that one? Is it 1 week, a month?
30.
30 years.
30.
Oh, 30.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not that good
Yeah,
though.
go borrow it at that rate. Don't put it in at that rate.
Yeah.
All right. And looking at its cousins, so that's the 30-year. We got the 10 at 404, not found right here. We got the 2-year at 4.3, the 1-year at 4.8, and the 1-month yield at 5.38. Holy cow.
That's pretty amazing.
Wow.
Wouldn't everyone go for the 1 month, the 5.38?
It's not bad. It's not
Well,
bad.
yeah, but it moves.
Right, it's not bad.
Yeah,
That's-
so the big boys are on the 10-year. And
big
it locks
boys-
you into a percentage for 10 whole years. The monthlies are going to change drastically in over 5 years. They'll
So,
go back to 2.5%, 3%.
oh, really?
Oh yeah, yeah. They'll be closer to the overnight rate.
Hmm.
Like, the number that the Fed reports.
And if we look at our recessional indicator from the 10 minus the 2, we're still very recessional. It's improving, but not by much. Okay.
Oh, I didn't realize you had that one. So that's what you trade. That's actually a really great trade because it trades really slow, and it's range bound.
Yeah, we talked about that like 2-3 weeks ago. Yeah. And let's take a look at the crypto announcement. So someone jumped the gun, and I kind of don't believe this. Two-factor authentication is mandatory on Twitter. So how was there a breach of the system? So very suspicious.
Spawn did it.
I don't have two-factor. It's not mandatory.
It's not? I'll check my phone.
Should be for government. Yeah, I mean,
Oh, okay.
it's the whole thing's absurd.
So did we know that somebody compromised SEC Twitter account, or didn't know what's going on?
When was it really compromised or an intern?
Accidentally?
Not clear.
Oh, they still don't know. Okay.
It'll be weeks. It'll be quite a few days before they have any idea. No, nobody will step up and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I did it."
Yeah.
Gotta be maybe a group of hackers or something try to
Yeah. So
sell. Yeah.
They don't have video of somebody pulling the fire alarm, huh?
Basically.
the first data point would be, did they run 2FA? Because I mean, if they did 2FA, then somebody has a serious security breach. But they're probably on one of those electronic keys. They may have 50 of these keys running around. The little dongle things that plug into the USB port.
So now that there's a Bitcoin ETF, is anyone going into buying ETFs here?
It might be interesting for a pairs trade someday.
Mm-hmm.
A pairs trade against one of the other major SP type sectors.
Okay.
But no plans.
No plan to buy into it. Okay.
I haven't done anything Bitcoin.
I mean, structurally, I mean, the goal was to stay out of the financial systems, right? And stay independent. This kind of is the inverse of that, which is
It is because of Wall Street. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Wall Street wants you in.
They want money.
They
Right.
need their cut.
Yep. 100%.
And then this opens up the floodgates for pension funds and a lot
Yep.
of institutional money to come in. So
That's their goal, to
It
get
should be
more
prudent.
money.
yeah, but what's happening to today? All the miners are not doing really well.
They run out. The math doesn't work. I mean, there's just too much money to go into Bitcoin only.
Let's see. Are people shorting? Let's see. Let's look at Mara's analytics. Let's take a look behind the scenes. Not really. Not really. It's a slightly bearish. I wouldn't call it crazy bearish. Let's look at Mara. Oh wow, down almost 15%.
It ran up a lot the past couple weeks. So I
Yeah.
guess people are just taking profit.
It's buy the rumors, sell the news.
Yeah,
type of
buy the
thing.
rumor, sell the news situation. And I think the run up will continue, maybe taking a break for a little while.
Yeah, the profit takers will knock
Yeah,
down for a while.
knock out. Yep. And they'll come back.
Mhm.
I have a question. The ETF, all of this ETF, what's the other components in it? Just Bitcoin, nothing else, right?
Management fees.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
Fees,
management
fees,
fees.
fees.
Yes, yes.
Let's look at the prospectus. Let's say this is probably a
Do
big
they
deal.
have any mining companies in it? That's kind of what I'm curious. Or
Oh,
is it just spot Bitcoin?
I think it's just spot.
all spot Bitcoin. Yeah,
You've already got ETFs that got the miners in them.
yeah.
Oh, there's a mining ETF, right? Crypto mining ETF. What is that one? I don't even know the
I
ticker.
thought Kathy Woods has one. Am I wrong?
Mm,
There's got to be one out there, probably running 5 million total assets. But
yeah, there's a crypto mining ETF. I
Let's-
don't know what it's called.
Da, 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 da.
There you go.
Okay, Valkyrie
Oh,
Bitcoin.
Valkyrie. Okay.
I've actually heard of that one.
Let's
I heard of her. She's been in the space for a long time.
Cipher Mining,
Oh, don't know them. It's
Iris
digital, yeah. Mhm.
Apply Digital. Let me drop this in the chat. I can
Okay.
start the one. Yeah, take a look. Cool.
My other question is also, can foreign company investors buy into these ETFs?
Yeah, they must be able to. They have
Right?
access to our market.
Yeah, I mean we're the big dog in the global scene, so I don't see why not.
Right. So they will get foreign money coming into all these ETFs as well, besides, all the 401k and
Yeah.
IRA and all that.
there may be foreign Bitcoin ETFs already.
Yeah.
Yes, some countries do, but I think a lot of them do not. I know Canada has one. Canada has one.
There's a product that's sort of like mirroring things. United States doesn't allow it. Like people in Australia trade these things. And
Mhm.
I don't know why I'm blanking on the word.
You're talking about CFDs, contracts for difference.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. It's
how does that work? The CFD,
It's a scam, stay away.
a scam.
well, no, it's kind of like a future.
Right.
You know,
Except it doesn't exist. It's all made up.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
like
exactly.
Sam Bankman-Fried, made up stuff, and they traded shares that don't exist. So you go and trade Tesla. Well, they don't have Tesla, so they're following the price, and then
Oh,
you have to trust them that they will pay you.
is this a
And
modern day bucket shop like in
yes,
clock
exactly.
operator? Okay.
That's what it
That's
is.
like it's like an exchange traded note.
Oh,
It's
okay.
it's
Okay.
imaginary,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
So
that's what an exchange traded note is. It's imaginary.
But-
Right. CFD it's not allowed in the US, but
No,
everywhere
it is.
else you can
But
trade CFDs.
worldwide, there's lots of these. I mean,
Right, but not in the US. US you cannot trade
like
CFD.
somebody in Australia would be trading a lot of this. The Singapores would be trading a lot of this.
Right. Exchange, I don't even know what ETNs is.
Yeah, I dropped the link in the chat. But yeah,
Yeah.
Notes is like a bond
yeah. So they're
versus
Mhm.
holding
here
stock.
and they follow the index. Yeah.
It's like an ETF. It just has a different.
No, it's not like an ETF because there's nothing underneath it.
Okay.
Mhm.
It's totally different from an ETF.
Okay. Right.
Oh yeah, ETF buys the actual
Yeah.
thing.
Up at the top, it said unsecured.
Yeah,
So if it's scam, how can it be traded?
yeah.
Wall Street wants the money.
have you seen the 9,000 cryptos listed? Go back to your
Oh.
question. If
Yeah,
All
it's
the
a
cheat coins. Yeah, yeah.
Well, if they like it, they could do it like features, where everybody has this money in this bank and it has to get every single trade has to be guaranteed. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I don't know how they work. I don't live in a place that allows it, so I never gave a damn.
Okay.
But I do know that there's lots and lots of volume on these things. They're not as hokey as you would think. They're not like all the crazy coins.
What is the one from BlackRock?
This is it. I'm trying
oh,
to read
this one?
the prospectus,
Oh,
yeah, to see if there's any like disgusting disclosures they have here.
is it, what's the ticker for the BlackRock one? IBIT, what is it?
Yeah, what are their fees?
This one is 0.25, so 25 basis points. Is that high or that low? I don't know. But considering that you can do it
That's
yourself,
low.
There's nothing to do. They give the Bitcoin to Coinbase and sit back.
Well, no, it's, is that the document I said was unsecured? Unsecured
No,
means-
this is the ETF for Bitcoin now.
Okay, yeah.
Unsecured's here, yeah. It's in the chat if you want to grab that one.
So is Coinbase custodial for all of these ETFs?
Some of them, most of them.
Most of them. Coinbase got hit today, big time.
So yeah, let me drop this in the
Oh,
chat.
they
So-
custody 8 spot Bitcoin.
So if everyone's,
Rumor, sell the news.
yeah.
Yeah. So is this good for Coinbase? This might not be good for Coinbase because now people can just go and buy ETFs, right? It's a lot easier for people to just go and pay the brokerage to buy the ETFs for them instead of trying to buy Bitcoin itself and then try to put it on their own wallet and take care of it and things like that.
They
So it might
just
not be
treat it
good for
like a stock.
Coinbase.
Yeah.
Coinbase may lose a lot of business from people
It's
just putting in
cannibalized.
the ETFs.
Yeah, it cannibalizes their business model a little bit.
Yeah.
Warren called it oil bottom. I exited.
Oh yay.
You called the number.
Woohoo.
It's bottom.
Yeah. Well, I'm calling it a bottom.
Well,
I
70, 71.
So we should go long now on oil.
No.
no. I'm a day
No?
trader. I will trade 30 seconds apart.
Dave's up at like 4 a.m., posting updates already. So he's
But-
different time scale than you, Wani.
I know. I want to
couldn't sleep.
learn.
I traded at 1 o'clock in the morning the other day.
Wow.
Because
How do you trade your CL? How do you do that?
just in the
We need to
PDA.
have a session, learn about
Well, no,
how to
you just
trade
type
futures.
slash CL in a thinkorswim window. Yeah, you have to have a futures knob turned on, kind of like advanced options.
I do.
Yeah, just type CL. Here's
I
five.
know. Well, I'll talk to you later on about it.
Well, no, it's just slash CL. It's nothing to it, but you
I
have to have
know.
the flag turned on.
Okay. All right. Let's fast forward a little bit. Let's jump to our domestic news and look at the optimistic job numbers with layoff data. Oh, we have
Oh, I have information.
yes, go ahead, Wani.
Google laying off. My son just got a internal memo today. I just got an internal memo.
He's laid off?
He's not. He got
Okay.
his job. He still has
Okay.
his job. But he said a lot of the managers were gone, not gone.
Hmm.
I don't know how many they're laying off. He just got the email today.
1,000.
Internal email.
Here
Yeah.
we go. 1,000.
Oh, 1,000. Okay.
How many people do they have?
Google.
They have like 180,000 people.
Oh, wow.
Ooh,
Is
wow.
it only in the US or all around the world?
I could have joined back
Total.
when they used PCs. Way back in like 96, 95 maybe.
190 around the world or just in the US?
No,
Yeah,
total.
they're around the world.
Total? Okay.
Yeah, they went after most of the consumer hardware group.
Oh,
181K as of June 2023.
They can pull hardware out of any of the Taiwan.
Oh, there's a big update for
Yeah,
Google.
that's where they're putting people is in Taiwan.
Yeah. The Taiwan design teams will just build these things out so fast. And China can do it even faster.
Well,
It's crazy.
Google
They
doesn't
they
do
can build up
it in China that are pulling out. I was in that group, by the way.
Oh,
Oh, you were in the China group?
No, I was in the consumer hardware group, but we
Uh-oh.
we didn't have any hardware design teams. It was all Taiwan based.
Oh, wow. And let's see how many layoffs we have at the moment. So we got 3 years of data. So for 2024, already 3,000 tech layoffs.
wow.
22, 262. So that's 265K plus 164. I can't do that math. 265 plus 164 is, oops. 265 plus 164. So 429. So that's 429,000 tech jobs have been eliminated in 2.5 years. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And considering that most of them are probably in the Bay Area, the population of Bay Area is what, 7 to 8 million?
Mm-hmm.
Population, what is that?
Yeah, you're about right. 7.5.
Yeah. How many illegals? That's a different question.
60%?
Yeah, 7.52. And
I hear the San Salvador people are who are delivering all the drugs. That's the only thing I know.
it's the Sinaloa cartel that dominates our at least our neighborhood here.
What is that? Where are they from?
It's here. Baja California, the west side. Yeah, they dominate.
The people on the street are coming from like San Salvador. They're
No, Honduras.
that's it, Honduras.
Yeah.
The guys who you can buy $10,000 worth.
Wow.
Yeah. If you guys would like to look at more layoff data, let me paste that in the chat. Let's go back to our article. All right. So surveyed companies say 38% of US companies anticipate they will conduct layoffs in 2024. So that's more than a third. Nothing says stability like that. So 38% will have layoffs. 52% are having a hiring freeze. Yeah. But don't worry. Wendy's is hiring, so that's a plan. And we've always talked about China news, and to me, China is the canary in the coal mine. So we're probably somewhere 6 to 18 months ahead of them or behind them. So yeah, China's tech implosion is pretty serious, and the youth unemployment rate is massive. And we'll look at college graduate rates and how that's going to further devastate the Chinese tech sector.
That's been going on a long time, and a lot of companies moved out to like Vietnam and India. I mean,
Yep.
Right,
you
right.
know,
Well,
part of
Apple did that,
the,
right?
the whole COVID thing screwed them.
And Alan's
Yeah.
telling us to buy Hawaiian tacos, tortillas.
Well, you guys just started off on this whole Sinaloa conversation. I thought, oh, okay, here's a Sinaloa's representation here in the islands.
Does anyone speak Spanish? What does Sinaloa mean? What's the actual etymology of the word?
Ask Google.
Sinaloa. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Sinaloa. I wonder if it's like this is the inside of all our drug trades that come here.
Oh, it's a province. Okay. It's a province. So obviously don't go here. Okay. All right. Okay. And Sinaloa's hiring apparently. What was that? Always thinking backup plans. Multiple streams of income.
The name looks great on the resume, actually.
It's very diverse, ESG friendly here.
You'll get instant pay raise just having that name.
Just pay
So
your
can you make surfboards out of their tortillas? That's what the illustration seemed to imply.
Yeah, yeah, we can definitely give it a try with masa.
Imagine the LinkedIn profile, former Sinaloa boss.
That's hilarious. You know what? Someone did a fictional resume for like Jay-Z. It was actually really funny. Now that we're talking about that.
Jay-Z. Who's
Uh,
Jay-Z?
oh, a rapper, one of the a famous iconic hip hop rapper, but
Oh,
what was it? I remember uh one of the comments was really funny. I forgot what was it? Oh, there's too much text, but yeah, if you guys want to check this out, oh, it's whatever, it's okay. Um, okay, uh, okay, Hawaiian tortillas. Okay, back to our show. Where are we? Let's see. Okay, let's see any more data here that's helpful. Da, 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 da. Nike is having a big cutback. Hasbro, the toy giant's having a cutback. We talked about them about 2 weeks ago because of California's gender neutral toy law. Thank you, Gavin Newsom, Mr. Hair Gel. What else? I think that's it for this. Ross is asking, does anyone know a website that provides the latest SEC stock buys and sells? Oh, that's cool. SEC buy, sell data. Do they
Yeah,
have
It's always like 3 months late, isn't it?
no. So if you go to the SEC's website, you will find, you know, but then I'm talking about like individuals who have made buys and sells. Speaking of individuals, meaning insiders, right? So I don't know if it's
Oh,
really
okay.
that much delayed. If it's institutional buys and sells, yes, 100%. It's usually 3 months.
On Finviz, they
Yeah.
show insiders, and I'm sure like Open Insider. Yeah, there you go.
The
Okay.
10Ks have that stuff.
Right.
I don't know
The
the.
the idea here is, if people make significant or large purchases or sells, maybe this idea has already been thought through by someone else, is that when people make these buys and sells, individuals, that is, like CEOs or directors or board of directors, etc.,
So they
maybe
say
they can,
the buys are more important because sales are oftentimes pre-programmed to
right,
cash out. But when
right?
they buy big into their own company, that's meaningful. Yeah.
yeah. So can you, let's say, go directional uh, when you see some big buys, right?
Idea.
Um, they're delayed, and I'm gonna look it up.
Right. And to Flav's point, people sell for a variety of reasons, but people buy in large quantities only to make money.
Yes, it is SEC.
Yeah.
Oh, Edgar.
Yeah, Edgar is, but it's not laid out in the way that it shows in this website here. Open
Yeah, this
Insider.
one parses all the Edgar and gives it to you in a better, easy to read format.
Right.
Because
I
you
don't know.
can
Is
just
there
put a ticker. Like if you put a ticker on top, you can see only that company. And
Yeah. So here's like
yeah, it looks like you have today's data.
right?
Okay. Here's Tesla. CFO. Okay.
And he sold.
Negative 4,000. I mean, freaking Elon has a revolving door of
CFOs.
CFOs. It's just like, and this guy's bailing. Like,
$1 million today.
yeah,
He's
just
bailing.
because. Like, let's look this guy up. Who is I can't even keep track. We need
Yeah.
to,
So in this case, right? So this guy's fairly new to Tesla, and if he's selling, he's not selling for a family purchase or buying a house or whatever. He's selling because he knows something.
Because he visited the factory.
He's probably just selling very slowly. He'll do a certain amount most quarters.
he's 4% a chunk. Yeah, he's been 4% like monthly here.
A
Or
million.
that
$1 million a month.
That
$1
smells.
million a month.
Hope he doesn't live in California.
That's the house payment.
Well, I was thinking how much taxes he'd paid.
He's at what, peak income, or peak ordinary income?
Yeah, he'd be up in the 20%, in the California 11 and a half.
13.5.
Oh, okay,
California.
whatever it is. I'm not that high.
Let's look at Coinbase. That'll be interesting. Let's see. Oh, lots. No one's buying. Everyone's selling off. That says something.
And these are as of last week.
No. Right now. The 5th, the 4th, the 4th.
No, look at the second column, which is the trade
Oh,
date.
trade date. Trade date. Oh, I see. Last week. Yeah. Okay.
Somebody sold 14 million. Is that right? The first one.
First one, 4
But
million.
that was only 2% of their ownership, right?
Yeah.
On-
But they're what is this? COB? What's that position? He unloaded everything.
I'll
What's
be left the company.
what's COB?
Chief of Bitcoin.
That chairman of the board or something.
COB title. Hold up. Chairman of the board? What? Chair of the board versus chairman? What's the difference?
Revolving doors.
Okay. I didn't know there was a chair of the board, not chairman. Or is chairman's too gender
Yeah, it's too gender specific.
Okay.
Not politically correct.
Okay. But yeah, so the chairman and the CEO, yeah, that typically overlaps sometimes, right? He's a 10% individual minority stakeholder. All right. He sold everything. That's a clue, right? He's not buying, he's bailing.
Well, the board of directors is different from the CEO. The CEO reports to the board of directors.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes the chairman of the board is also the CEO,
Yeah.
which Wall Street doesn't particularly like.
No.
Let's look at this guy's pedigree. Who is this mofo?
God, he looks so young.
He looks like an android. That's great. Bellarmine. Oh God. Okay.
All
Former.
right. So what's the trade? What's the trade?
What's the trade? Short Coinbase. Oh, he's ultra lefty. Okay, wonderful. Okay. It's a little
I mean,
older than me.
the point I was wanted to bring up is, if such a website exists, which it does, it looks like, because I was on a sales call, people selling their softwares and ideas and whatnot, and this was one of the things that person was bringing up. I forget the name of the website, but they're selling this for $2,000.
Do you have the name of
Damn, I'm trying to remember what the name is.
it? Okay.
Just
But
earlier
this
this
was
week.
cool data. Well, we're happy to, yeah, if you let us.
Right, but see, the thing is, what they do, there's okay. I mean, I'm maybe trivializing it. So 2,000 for the service, I think it's annual. What they give you access to is a much better looking interface than even this Open Insider or whatever this website was, right?
Yeah.
What they do is they analyze the data. Like in this case, they give you the data. It's left to you to analyze it and then come up with trade ideas. So what they do is for 2,000, they give you access to their interface, which has, in my opinion, I think it looks much better than this Open Insider. That's one. They give you daily trades if there are any opportunities, and they also tell you when to exit based on certain rules you select on their website. So if you hit 20% as your exit, then that website will send you an alert saying, "Hey, the stock and or the option has hit your profit target. Get out." So you can set it that way.
I mean,
So
yeah. I mean, that automation is valuable. I mean, maybe we should all, do like a group login for that. I wouldn't be opposed to chipping in.
Let me find the login and I'll
Okay,
put
yeah,
that
let
in.
me know. Let me know. That would be cool. And
I
definitely,
mean, yeah,
some.
yeah. That's why I asked. Like, this idea is not new because if someone has already figured out and created a package around it, I'm sure that others may have thought about it as well.
Yeah. And yeah, it's great hidden value and kind of in plain sight in a way. It's just not readily consumable. But yeah, for $2,000,
Exactly. Yeah.
worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with
So
you.
can you make that $2,000 in a trade if you get a good, like,
Hell
say,
yeah.
idea?
Hell yeah.
Of course you can, right? So you got to pay to play
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes.
Knowledge is information, or knowledge, or whatever. Yeah. Okay. Sweet.
Okay, if I find something while we're still on the call, I'll put that in chat here.
Yeah, no problem. Awesome. Let's go to our next article. US beef.
Where's the beef?
Where's the beef? There you go. And we've seen a lot of food production problems all across the board, nonstop for the last 2-3 years. So we're right on schedule with the supposed depopulation and you shall eat bugs ethos. So let's see. Ground beef prices. Yeah. Higher highs and higher lows. Further up and to the right. This will not make my dog happy, but yes. Okay. If you ever if you need to stockpile your cans of Spam, you should do it now before things really get out of hand. And that's
You
just
mean your dog doesn't take too kindly to the substitution that we take, the humans take?
he's anti, CPI, well, the formula is like, hey, people can stop eating beef and eat chicken instead. Like he doesn't like to swap.
I did actually see people stocking up on Spam the other day.
Yeah, yeah. It's like $1.39 a can at the moment. Last I saw, I think.
Yeah, just make your Costco run.
And what's the trade, right? Let's take a look at Tyson. We haven't looked at them in a while. TSN. Not doing great. And these guys keep getting or there's a constant wave of whistleblowers that reveal that they're using not just illegal immigrants, but child illegal immigrants in their plants. Like, wow. And if you guys have read The Jungle, which is about the Chicago stockyards back in the day, this is nothing new in the industry. Like meat processing plants are their own specialized form of hell. Yeah. Okay. Okay, time for Boeing news. I had a great meme. Let me pull up Signal. I sent it to Alan. Let me find it while this loads. Where was it? Oh, here we go. When one door closes, another door opens.
Oh, that's appropriate.
I gotta paste this in the article. Anyway, and these are 911. Oh, sorry. What was it? The cockpit supposedly also suffered the decompression problem, and the checklist for dealing with a decompressed door situation flew out, and they couldn't find it. If I recall correctly. But yeah, let's go to Boeing stock really quick and take a look at the chart.
The interesting thing that no one wants to talk about, remember when this first happened, they said, oh, we're going to issue a checklist that everybody can go look at to figure out what was wrong in the first days, and we'll get those planes flying in a day or two. They had no checklist. It's pretty clear. Neither Spirit nor Boeing had a checklist. They're still working on it.
That's insane.
No one wants to talk about that.
And Alan and I were discussing this as well. There's something like shady about the merger itself between Alaska and Hawaiian, and both those fleets are heavy on the Boeing series in general for their inventory. So we're like Alan, like we haven't had time to dive into like their purchase contracts, but I'm thinking if there's some systemic failure, I wonder if this impacts their purchase prices and their repayment plans. Could be, could be some shenanigans there.
Mhm.
Alan, what does Hawaiian fly? Because I had heard that they were flying Airbus.
Yeah, Hawaiians are flying Airbuses now, but Warren and I kind of went through like past histories with what was going on with Aloha Airline and the cause of Aloha Airlines to fail. Because remember back in the 80s, like I believe 1980, 88, 89, there was a situation with another 737 where a good chunk of it flew off and they
Yeah,
lost
the
a
top
string.
flew off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's also a 737.
but it's not one of the MAX models.
No, it had
It's
that
not
one had a
one of
lot
them.
of cycles on it.
Yeah, it went through a lot of pressurization and depressurization cycles on short flights.
Yeah. So here's the interesting thing. Southwest has a chunk of these in their fleet.
Southwest is all Boeing 737.
Exactly. And
That's
take
all
a
they
look at
fly.
Yes.
Because they're cheap.
Yes, exactly. So this is going to be some interesting times to come. Let's see what this can of worms open up.
But Southwest isn't the little tiny 737s that have been around forever. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But
little tiny ones that have been out there forever.
the
Not the Max.
Southwest fleet is not the Max series, which came out after the previous CEO came into place. He was a number cruncher, not an engineer, and this is the result.
Yeah, the Max were the ones that were falling out of the sky in Asia.
Right.
Is it the
and
7
the Max series is also composite. It's a composite.
All of the Maxes have problems.
Yeah.
Mm.
So that's the big major difference between the 737s of the past, where like what you guys are pointing out, the expansion and contraction when you take it up to altitude, the difference on the Maxes are their composite bodies.
But the other problem with the Maxes is they added those big new engines, which push the center of gravity of the aircraft forward, so it tends to pitch nose down naturally, and they decided they were going to fix that with software, but it was very badly designed software, and the pilots weren't properly trained on it, so they lost 2 entire plane loads of people and almost lost a third.
Oh my God, this is the new lawn dart.
Yeah, they had sensor problems too.
Holy crap!
But, yeah,
This is our.
software was reading the sensors and they were wrong and all kinds of crazy shit.
Holy shit! This is F-16s in commercial airlines.
I don't know what that means, but sure.
It's when they upgraded the Maxes, right? The composite body, and then the engines were huge. I think someone just mentioned the center of gravity moved towards the front, and the plane essentially is fighting center of gravity using software. Can you imagine that?
Mhm.
Well, and your trims. So the trims.
So imagine the kind of load these mechanical systems are facing when in flight. If anything were to go wrong, let's say one of the flaps rips off, plane is doomed. Software or no software.
But don't worry, 20% of all Boeing staff will be black by whenever. That's their hiring goal.
No, they're all going to be accountants.
Even worse. Oh no.
Well, Boeing was going to move everything off to China. I don't know what the status is on that, but they were going to move their manufacturing off to China. Everything was military.
What meritocracy? We're just gonna hire people by their skin color.
Yeah, I definitely want a C student doing my surgery.
It's gonna be black, female, and lesbian.
I better change my cardiologist.
Oh God.
Nothing against you, Warren, about this, but She's also vegan.
Oh, that's Hellspawn. Okay, let's run away. I mean, she's a certified stoner and among other recreational habits. Oh my God, it's 11:30. We gotta fast forward.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Okay, speaking of shenanigans, the migrant crisis is so bad in New York that they're kicking out high school students, the entire school, to shelter migrants, and they're like, hey, the rest of you can go back on Zoom, and there's no pushback from the teachers union because who doesn't want an easier job, right? But these are paying taxpayers and whatnot. Like, this is crazy.
You know, the front load is everything in Europe. I mean, all of this was the writing on the wall. It's
Yeah. And busing, folks from Texas to New York and Chicago is still very ass backwards. Like, the real goal is truck them back to the border and get them on the other side, not ship them into the interior of the United States.
Well, no, the federal guys forced the border. I mean, there's a court case that's going on right now. So the obvious thing is to go dump them in all the cities that are Democrat and very positive about illegals.
Yeah.
The sanctuary cities.
Yeah.
And drown them in sanctuary city people.
And then we talked very briefly about the upcoming wealth tax, and let's take a closer look at this. California has a $68 billion budget hole. I believe there's a reserve for like 30 billion, if I recall correctly. So if you have any state employed, friends or family, CalPERS is going to be in serious jeopardy in the near future, and those pensions will not be there to pay out as they promised. But
The
public
same thing with the teachers units that were not on CalPERS. They're already hit. I have a teacher friend who hates me, but she complains.
Yeah, but that slave reparations office in SF has been disbanded due to budgetary concerns. So the whole thing was a dog and pony show. Like, they wanted to give reparations, and California again wasn't a slaveholding state, and we're taking money we're taking money from descendants of people who were never slavers and to give it to people who were never slaves. It's like, what is this? Totally nuts.
It was stupid. It was a committee.
Yeah.
But you need to just don't tell anybody about this, because that's why Newsom is not going to be president. Because he was pro reparations.
But Mr. Hairjo has the right pedigree in the family, at least, to get pushed into the Oval Office. I mean, his aunt's campaigning for him indirectly. Yeah. Yeah, we'll skip the Boeing news. We've talked about it to death. All right. Okay. This is kind of interesting. There was a lot of talk, since COVID days about corporate greed and how a lot of this is a fugazi, and we finally have some decent numbers on it. But yeah, corporate profits before tax has seen a substantial increase, and let's take a closer look. So we're looking at a jump from 2.4 trillion pre-tax to 3.6 trillion, and that's astounding.
Is that broken out to sectors?
Let's see. It is.
So how does that contribute to inflation? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if we're raped and pillaged by one of the food industry companies, and they're already getting all their tomato sauce from China, and their beef from the shady places that have horse meat.
Yeah, like this doesn't have the segmented data we need, but
But yeah, there's raw data someplace if there's a reference.
Yeah, at least not here.
Put the link in the notes. I'll maybe dig it out.
Yeah.
Because that's interesting.
Okay.
Because if they pillaged us, that's worth screaming about.
All right. Tinder owner Match jumps on report. Elliott investor takes $1 billion stake. So we talked about this last week. Let's look at this dating conglomerate. All right. So this is Match. Here's their performance. This owns Match.com, Tinder, OkCupid. How about we? Chemistry.com, date hookup, our time, blackpeoplemeet.com, asianpeoplemeet.com, singlesnet.com, speed date, kiss. Was this 2? Infinity? Meet medic? Par perfecto? I've never heard of these. But yeah,
I've never heard of them either.
I guess business is good.
European.
Oh, okay. But yeah, dating stocks in general are not doing great, but I guess they're trying to consolidate and buy up the market. One of their cousins or main competitor is Bumble, which has a large following among the female uh, users. The unique value prop of Bumble is the woman has to initiate the conversation. The guy can't even do it, even if they match, which results in women, like they're terrified of rejection, so they don't say anything and then they complain. It's kind of dumb. Oh, is Lord Tedder's here? Oh, holy cow. Yes, we did. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, we talked about crypto at our opening.
I don't know if you saw the latest was that Vanguard, however, is blocking their clients from using any of these ETFs. So it'd be interesting to see if they are having a Budweiser moment of basically our client does not know what is good for them. So yeah, there's been quite a rush of people to exit their Vanguard and move it to Fidelity or Charles Schwab or whatever. But I thought that was interesting.
That's nuts. Wow, this is fresh off the printing press. Yeah, no joke. Isn't this like kind of suicidal in a way? Why?
It's an interesting tactic, I will say. And it's interesting because Vanguard had previously allowed ownership in GBTC, and now they are only allowing clients to liquidate their GBTC, and they cannot purchase any of the other ETFs. So,
Is there an end date? I mean,
what for Vanguard?
well, no, this span. So I mean that might be interesting if it's 60 days or something like that, just to keep people out of the thrash.
No, they have said it's their policy that they are not allowing. And I'll see if I can find. I'm trying to find. Well, I sent the Coinbase article, but we've discussed CoinDesk. We've discussed previously. I'm not a big fan of CoinDesk, but that's the only thing I'm finding this morning. Is but there's a bunch of news on Twitter, basically people reporting that they've talked with their Vanguard representative and are not being allowed to purchase the ETF through Vanguard this morning.
That's nuts. Why would you shoot yourself in the foot? Like basically on opening day. It's new issue day, right? For all these ETFs. Wow. That's nuts.
So yeah, it's just a lot of virtue signaling. It's kind of amusing.
Shenanigans.
Well, if they're ETNs, they're still kind of fragile too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of discussion about that. I know we were talking a little bit earlier, Dave, about the ARC one, and they went into the mechanics a little bit. Kathy did on their spaces yesterday, and I agree. I think there is, in fact, there was actually a really, really good question from one of the OG ciphers, Adam Beck, who he actually originally created the cipher that predates Bitcoin. And he was asking some of those technical type questions about like, how does this actually work? How does it settle up with, the spot Bitcoin? And I don't know. I wasn't super impressed. It sounded like a lot of OTC was what it sounded like. And, they're not pulling the Bitcoin that they have in custody in and out for these trades, but they're basically settling over OTC. I think there's a lot of potential for shenanigans, which I've mentioned before. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Well, there's also sort of the XIV type of risk where the math doesn't work and it blows up.
the big risk was what Adam asked is, okay, you guys have anticipated X billion of flows coming in this day. What happens? Because Bitcoin is notorious for breaking models, which is actually what he said. What happens if you get 10x the flows coming in? How do your systems handle that? Right.
Right.
And there really wasn't a really great answer from Kathy and her team on that. It was kind of a bullshit answer. So it'd be really interesting. I think, there was some discussion of the fact that it's, the actual settlement gets delayed T+2. Again, because Bitcoin trades 24/7, it doesn't fucking turn off. It will be interesting to see how this little experiment works. So anyway, that's it.
Sweet. I posted our notes for you, Ed, if you want to take a look.
Awesome, will do.
And then, but yeah, dating apps are having some M&A activity basically, and now pivoting to car data. We haven't looked at this in a little bit, but here's the latest from the Manheim Index out of this is out of Chicago, I believe. But yeah, it's pacing the Fibonacci retracement levels very closely, interestingly enough. But as car values are declining, we should see some movement in CarMax and Carvana and their cousins. So it does seem to be matching the curve a little bit.
The used car prices are still nowhere prior to their COVID incident. They're still high.
Yeah.
Which is one of the reasons for CPI being high.
Yeah,
There's not a Manheim for electric vehicles. That would be interesting.
Oh yeah. Well, the challenge of that is the insurance is the unseen cost, right? And that varies regionally a bit. And there's not many carriers in general.
I showed you guys there's the Car Gurus charts, which tracks by model, year, and brand. So that shows you the EVs if you want to see the crash in prices. So
where is that?
Just put
here we go. We looked at it before. Yeah, here we go. Okay, top mounts. You can like specific ones, right? Yeah, here we go. Honda CRV, we don't want this. Okay. Price trends.
Yeah, there you go. Now you can choose a brand.
Volt EV. Let's look at Tesla. That's the main one, right? EV.
So yeah, click only Tesla.
Tesla. There we go. Okay. Oh, prices dropped last 30 days, 5.2% by model. And wow.
And you can set the dates on the chart to expand it to before COVID if you want to.
Oh, okay. Let's do that. But 2019. Okay. Set date. Update chart. Bam. Okay. Tesla. Okay. So it peaked in last year, August. Okay, right before my birthday. Okay. And collapsed after that. Interesting. Okay.
And I like the 90 days loss, and because if you look by model,
wow.
See 90 days, 15%.
Year over year. That's a lot. Wow.
Oh, it's 20 and a half. Yeah, so 19 and a half is probably perfect.
And then
Probably a solid
I'll mute you, Wani. And then does this factor in the Elon Musk's price decreases?
Well, indirectly, yes, because
Yeah.
when a new car goes down, the used ones from the year before will go down.
Right.
And then you can drill down more. So if you want to do like Model 3 and then look at each year individually, you can see it like that. Now you'll have options to choose the year.
Wow.
So you'll see that 2023 went down 27% in a year.
Wow. Ouch. And there's depreciation kicking in. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let me drop this in the chat if you guys want to take a look. This is cool. Okay. Here's the parent page. Sweet. Yeah, I forgot about this. This is pretty cool. Okay. And let me leave this here as well. Cool. All right. Okay, running out of time. Let's keep going. Let's go to office vacancies, the latest in commercial real estate. All right. U.S. occupancy vacancy rate is now worse than the 80s. Was the 80s that bad? Mid 80s? Okay, 20% across the US. Let's see, by region, change in offense vacancy. So Sacramento, Milwaukee, SF. Doing well is NOLA, Fort Lauderdale, and Palm Beach. Okay. Let's see. Gold standard. So looking at the key fob data, basically, it is decreasing. And why does it decrease? There seems to be some seasonality here, but yeah. Let's see. U.S. cities with the most commercial mortgage debts. Manhattan, SF, Chicago, LA, Houston, Long Island, Sunnyvale, Burbank, Philadelphia, Santa Clara. Okay. And then the Santa Clara players I used to work for. So that's what? The Sobrato family, Prometheus, Essex, Mission Avalon. Yeah, a couple regional players. Okay, so lots of positive news here. No surprises. Let's look at our REIT watch list and see if we can play with any of these. So there's a lot of noise here, but we got to go commercial and residential specific. So let's go to, let's start with like the commercial stuff. SPG, we looked at a lot, especially in 2020. This is the Simon Property Group. They basically own shopping centers and strip malls. Surprisingly, they're doing really well. Let's go to residential stuff. Here is AVB, Avalon Bay, actually on an upswing. Maybe some channel bound movements here in the near term. Here's Essex. Oh wow, I didn't know they were all doing so well. Huh, okay. I guess that kind of makes sense, right? In the rental market, if people can't buy homes, they have to go somewhere. Okay. Interesting.
And all of Simon's properties are going to get converted to condos.
Or migrant facilities.
Yeah. Financed by the government.
Yeah,
Excuse me, by the taxpayers.
that's right. And now pivoting to tech news. Surprise, surprise, Volkswagen's going to install ChatGPT and record everything you do in there. So in a way, we've seen China ban Teslas from all government facilities and whatnot for fear of recordings and whatnot. And maybe their paranoia is valid. And let's see what news we have from here. So car makers have a long list of personal information they may track, including employment and purchasing history, education, internet browsing history, location data, music, podcasting, listening habits, immigration status, religious and philosophical beliefs, and health information. Oh, if you guys use Bluetooth through your car, that's also a point of weakness from a security standpoint, in case you didn't realize that. Let's see what else. Lots of folks wouldn't even fail to meet the nonprofit organization minimum privacy standards. Okay, so pretty much everyone is in the same boat here, and it's not for freedom-loving Americans. Okay, that's fun stuff. And then we talked briefly about this, but if you don't pay for your car, the auto driving feature will repo itself from your clutches. So good times there. Oh, hold on.
But even before that, they can lock you out of the car
That's
and
it.
not let you drive it.
Yeah.
No, but they'll just start it up and drive it to the dealer.
Well, yeah, and
Self drive right to the dealer.
Even repo guys are getting put out of business. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
That bad. It's
So rumor has it that even if you pay the car off completely, you still don't own it.
especially for Tesla, yeah. Like everything has to be perfect. Your registration, car insurance, it's all extremely draconian. It doesn't feel like you own it at all.
It rhymes with the statements people made at WEF last year.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. And speaking of the devil, Tesla shares tumble after a company tells US workers they are getting a pay raise. And let's look at the charts first. Tesla down 3% on the day. We got earnings coming up on the 24th, so another 2 weeks. And looking at momentum, we're definitely very close to the zero line. So we're running out of suckers to keep the price elevated. And let's look at the analytics and see how bad it is. 0.65 on the put call ratio. It's just above average in terms of slight bearishness, but not too bad. And let's go back to our news and see what this increase
Hey,
is.
a comment on this. If people don't realize what's going on with this comment that Musk made, then I don't know what to say. You know, people, I don't know, they realize who the real enemy is.
What
what do you think?
Meaning, you give pay raises to the workers and your stock drops. Who's the real enemy here? Of the people, right? It's Wall Street.
The analyst community.
Yeah, but it's just a blip. You know how these things are. I mean,
No.
I mean,
it may be a blip.
3 or 4 days later, everybody will forget it.
No. I'm
talking
I'm not talking about the minor blip here. You know, 2-3% is nothing for a stock price. It's the overall structure of things, right? When Wall Street controls everything, and you know you're being made to look in other directions as to what the reasons for the problems are. I think people need to think a little bit more.
Well, all electric cars are just screwed right now. I mean, there's infinite supply of news articles on it.
It's not Tesla. No, it's not Tesla related.
So much trouble.
Yeah, no, it's not Tesla related. I think that was the point. It was interesting actually because Elon was on the Spaces briefly yesterday with Kathy at the ARC launch, and they were discussing issues with the SEC, and I'm sure you guys talked about that earlier with the Bitcoin launch. All of these SEC missteps, and it's all tied back to them being in bed with Wall Street. But Elon talked about that. It was part of his conflict with Gary. And Tesla and sort of the whole industry is the incentive structure is fucked. And, Elon kind of highlighted that. And that was one of the discussions about why did it take, originally a Bitcoin ETF was filed for backed by the Winklevoss twins and Fidelity back in 2014. Why did it take so long? Well, because it wasn't in Wall Street's interest.
That's right.
Yeah. So
Plus-
anyway, I guess
plus
it just
it was-
gets back to that point. So I think that
Right.
was kind of the point he was trying to make was, and it's kind of funny because Elon's like, I don't really agree with the whole Bitcoin thing, but what we're in agreement with is basically the SEC and Wall Street have way too much power. And they also talked about before Tesla was listed on the S&P, how much manipulation there was and all of this sort of shenanigans that the hedge funds in particular were instigating against Tesla, even though the real value was there. Basically Wall Street was treating it like a pariah.
Plus one more thing to add there, Ed, is settlement in USD. It was one of the main requirements for the ETFs, which previously was not. You know, the promoters of the earlier ETFs did not agree to settlement in USD.
Right. And I think that's a very deliberate attempt on the SEC's part. They're going to try to do the same bullshit that they did to gold for the same reasons. Yeah. So
Exactly.
100%. They will try. And I think, you know, what they just haven't learned is what they haven't learned over the last 14 years is that, you know, Bitcoin doesn't give a fuck about your bullshit. And eventually it will come and eat your face. But, you know, we'll see. It'll be that we're definitely at the and then they fight you stage. Right. And I also think that's part of the reason why eventually Elon won as well. It's like the real fundamentals won out. So, you know, we'll see what happens. But there's definitely a lot of shenanigans on Wall Street. News at 11.
Are there Wall Street names, or is it just the standards of BlackRock and Fidelity and State Street?
As far as like who's launching the Bitcoin ETFs or who is causing sort of the malincentives.
Yeah.
I think the malincentives are it's hard to point the fingers at just one particular area. It's really about the concentration of power and wealth, right? And that's what creates malincentives.
Ken Griffin comes to mind among many others.
Who?
Citadel.
Oh yeah, Citadel, because there.
Yeah, I mean, there's the typical faces of evil, right? I mean, I think Jamie Dimon is clearly in there. I mean, on one hand, he's just like, and he's still saying it, Bitcoin is for criminals. And then of course the joke is, or the meme is, basically, I'm in, right? He's one of the top. His company is one of the top supporters with Coinbase on the ETF launch. So it's just, yeah, it's just turtles all the way down. It's just absolute, you know, corruption and greed.
All right, take care, Alan. We'll see you later.
Models, bro. Laters. Bye.
Bye, Ellen.
A lot easy.
Well, I think also because SEC knows that there's so much more money going to be coming in with BlackRock and all these big fund companies.
I mean, Elon really pointed it out in the spaces. He said this directly. He said, the problem is that the people who work at the SEC are basically not very well paid. And their golden parachute is that if they treat essentially the hedge funds and whatnot with kid gloves during the process, they know that they're guaranteed a nice fat payout at the end of it. So that's the malincentive, right? So like, he's just saying what all of us already know. And there's probably other malincentives in there, but it's one of the big issues with regulatory capture, right? Is the financial regulatory capture.
Absolutely.
It's all by design.
It's all money. It's all about money. Now, my question also is, you know, when SEC fined companies for, you know, not complying this and that and this, when they fine them hundreds of millions of dollars, what do they do with all that money? Who get the money? Is it SEC getting all that money, or what do they do with the money? I'm always curious about that.
Yeah, I think we're also curious about
Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yeah, exactly. We're also curious about where the money went for, what was it, the Pentagon that couldn't resolve its audit, right?
Mm-hmm.
The big meme is you know, the federal government, your $600 Venmo payment, they've got the telescope out, right? It's the Bart meme, but they shrugged their shoulders about, you know, trillions of dollars when it comes to federal spending. So.
Right, and all the money that they get from fining, you know, companies for not complying to whatever reasons. That's millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. What do they do? What do they do with the money? Who has the money?
And then the US government spends it on arms and defense.
Is SEC part of the governmental agencies, or is it a private entity?
It's federal. It's federal.
It's federal,
The U.S. Federal Reserve is the private one.
right?
Yeah, the
right.
SEC is actually federal.
Has reserves too, I
It's
guess.
federal. It could be private entity running it because Federal Reserve is also private
No,
entity.
that's a
right.
Federal Reserve Bank exclusive.
We all know what the, let's see, or the Federal Reserve is.
Yeah. And they have a 6% annual dividend to all shareholders, which makes it a private corporation by default.
And that's a
See-
huge dividend.
It seems like they're not serving any good purposes at all for their existence. I mean, except regulate this, regulate that, and who need all these regulations anyway?
All right. We gotta speed up, guys. We're only on barely on the international news, but yeah. Okay. Let's get to France. Thanks to Linda for sending this to me.
Openly gay premise.
So yeah, France has a 34-year-old, and yeah, he will continue. He's part of the Macron cabinet reshuffle. So we'll see how this shakes up. But yeah,
Awesome.
34 years old. Wow.
So obviously they had a quota on gay people.
Yeah, they are catering to.
it'll be a huge hit with all of the brown people from North Africa and the Middle East, I'm sure.
Wasn't there something like an election to get him in?
No, the president choose the prime minister as
Yeah,
he wants.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Once the president is elected, he can change prime minister as much as he wants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
He used an old lady to pass a reform on retirement, and it was very hard, very difficult. And now he wants to do a different project, and I think that's why he chose a younger guy.
I mean, how else to get the youth vote? Like, he's young and he's gay, like slam dunk.
Yeah.
Right?
And he's good looking.
It's a huge progress for France because it's a very conservative country for politics. We always have old people, and I'm very pleased. Very nice.
Meanwhile, in America, we have two 80-plus-year-olds running for the Oval Office. Like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
On that French news, I think it was probably blessed by the Pope as well.
This is the weirdest Pope ever.
But old people is better. They get more experience. They make better decisions and
I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
Not true at all. Not true at all.
I mean, I wouldn't want a 30-some years old person running a country. I'd rather have 70 years old somebody.
30-year-olds just like they're bipolar.
Well, you got your wish then, Winnie.
Seriously.
Yeah.
They'd be all jumping around like ADHD type people and oh yeah, reparations. Oh yeah, gay people. Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You need someone who's more established, more mature, have more worldviews and more experience in life.
Like Kamala
Trump.
Harris. Or Kamala.
Not Kamara, no.
Okay, we gotta power through, guys. Let's look at the Japanese yen. Yen USD. Okay. So we saw articles before on the yen crashing, and it's been doing it really nicely. Yeah. So the yen is okay. Let's do a 1-year chart. Yeah, it's been very low. How much is this?
Is there a way to invert that? It makes it nicer numbers.
Yeah, here we go. Okay. So, okay, this is the other way around. Yeah. So, yeah, so US dollar has equaled 151 yen at its peak last year in November. But it's still really good. I had a bunch of friends go to Japan for Christmas, and they were just ecstatic at how cheap everything was.
Yeah.
And they were Chinese people. And I'm like, did you get any heat from the local Japanese? They're like, no, not really. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Okay. So yeah, Bank of Japan is screwed. No surprises there. Let's look at the Korean Peninsula and see what's shaking up there besides Kim Jong-un. And here we're seeing some data on the latest global container shipping rates, especially with the Red Sea routes being cut off. And here we have a good chart. Let's expand that a little bit. So this is a change in US Gulf to China super tanker rates. Substantial increase since November 2022. So yeah, US dollars a day. Yeah, we are right here. Okay. And let's see. We haven't looked at the Korean ETF in a while. Let's check that out. We will talk about Taiwan a little bit too much, but let's pivot to Korea really quick. So this is EWY, the country-specific ETF. And let's see, it's a little bit all over the place. But interestingly enough, it's 200 and 500-day moving averages right next to each other. And we're seeing like Doji City here. And it's exactly at the zero line here as well in terms of momentum. So yeah, treading water here. Everyone's holding their breath. Let's see if the analytics can tell us anything. Oh, it's so thinly traded. No point looking. Okay.
Those
Okay.
are pretty stable numbers considering. I mean, they look interesting on a chart, but that's not a lot of movement.
Yeah.
You know, 10%.
Mhm. But yeah, some drama in Germany. We can skip that. Let's look at the fun commodity stuff. And this uranium chart is mind-blowing. So let's take a look. Okay, so here's the futures product UXA, and we are right here. Just a blow off top almost. Can we find that here? Futures.
Somebody was watching. We predicted this.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, we've talked about it here and there. I think only Wani and I really play this. Does this work? UVA? No, that's something else. Slash no. Okay. But yeah, we can get some action with CCJ. Chemical.
Chemical.
Yeah. So lots of inflows here. Do we see bullishness on the overall analytics? Yes. Kind of a mixed bag though. But yeah, a lot of folks will be needing nuclear power going forward because looks like solar and wind's definitely not going to cut it, and we're having oil problems all across the board. Okay. So yeah, what else is good here? Spot uranium is trading at $92 a pound.
That's insane.
Yeah.
It was like at $7 the last time I really looked. When
was that?
I don't know, maybe
Oh, it must have been like here, like 2020, $7.
yeah, something like that.
Okay, so the late 2000s, like 2016 to 2020s right here. Okay.
Maybe it was higher, maybe 12, but
Yeah.
they made an argument that uranium was this huge bumper thing. But it 10x. That's pretty amazing.
Mhm. Um, this is kind of regional, not nothing kind of stupid. This is another example of a command economy mowing their people down. So yeah, they're basically making oil 5x the price overnight. I don't know what that's gonna do, but they're probably gonna have to riot or Miami's gonna get a lot more boat people in the near future, I'd imagine. Okay. Let's look at the gold market. Oh yeah, Walmart's selling gold.
You said that last week.
Yeah. Let's see if there was analytics.
So like the premium would be the interesting thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So Costco and Walmart's gold rush as gold prices soared 14%. Yep. Yeah.
Is it only by mail?
Yeah.
So they can reprice it by the minute?
Yeah. I mean, you don't want this at self-checkout for sure. And let's look at the Texas.
And I assume no refunds if the price goes down.
You can exchange for
90-day refund. Price went down, I want my money back.
Wait, does the Costco return policy apply to?
Yeah, they said no refunds on Costco.
Okay. And I just learned that Costco makes golf clubs, like their own Kirkland golf clubs. And they're well reviewed on some other sites. Oh, it's sold out already. Damn it. But yeah, okay. Anyway, that's hilarious. I gotta see this with my own eyes. Let's see. Gold bullion and gold bars are not refundable. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, cool. This is where Costco draws the line with their liberal return policies. That's awesome. Okay. All right, to the Texas GOP. This is sort of akin to what the state of Utah has done in the past, where they sort of made gold and silver legal tender. So we're moving in that direction. And with a lot of secession talk from Texas, we'll see how this shakes up. But interesting development there. And let's look at finally our China news. Oh, by the way, quick update on premiums for gold and silver. It's been let me see. Bullion. Here, I got the data here. Hold on, Cola. Cola's getting a little bored. All right, so looks like so instead of looking at the calculating it manually, this website looks at does a premium for you. So looking at the 100-ounce generic bars, we're seeing silver premiums at about 10.22%. This has been at the 8 and 9 range for a long time, but inventory is drying up slowly. So we're seeing that pick up there. And then on the gold side, I prefer gold maples. Where is that here? But let's see. Cougaran here is about 3.4. We're seeing about like 3 to 4% for most of it. Oh, here we go. Canadian maple, 4.32%. Yeah, so
That's much better than normal, isn't it?
gold like pre-COVID was like 1%. Silver was like 2, 3, 4%.
Okay.
Yeah, and then yeah, so it's a bit higher. It peaked during April of 2020. Silver was like 20% and gold was about 10. Okay. And let's go to China news. Lots of articles, but let's look at the most important one, the stock market. Again, the magic number is the 3,000 level. That's a huge psychological level, and Beijing desperately wants to keep that number at 3,000 or higher, and it can't. They've made a number of restrictions and forced liquidity into market. They banned short selling, blah, 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 and they still can't do much. All right. And so I went through over a lot of articles and just pulled headlines and I underlined the important ones. So lots of crazy stuff here, obviously. Let's just look at the key ones. China's joblessness is massive. It's 280 million at least, if not more. And for the high-tech sectors, with new graduates and whatnot, there's about 12 million college graduates expected in 2024. And the youth unemployment rate for 18 to 24 is probably 60 to 70%. They stopped reporting it at about 1%, and that was half a year ago, last summer. And it's not good. What else?
How do you even have 280 million jobless? I mean, the population is overstated at 1.4. So let's say 1.2, and a third of the population is old people, a third of the population is young or children. I can't make the numbers work in my head.
No, it's about right. It's on the money. It's
like that's like half the population.
Yeah. And the numbers are overstated. China's real population is probably like 1 billion even. Like honestly.
Yeah, I was being generous at 1.2.
Yeah. So India won the population race for sure. And then probably Brazil will win that mantle in 50 years. But 1 billion people earn less than $300 a month, and it's pretty grim. And then what else? Like I mentioned earlier,
So how are they stating that they're a middle income country?
what
Because
was it, Franz? How are they what?
how are they stating that they are a middle income country? Because
They're
that's what
not.
they're
They're
not.
not.
It's a lie.
Correct. There's no middle class. The middle class, I mean, there is no real middle class. It's very temporary.
That's crazy.
It's nuts. It's kind of like it's like China is like the Falcons against the Patriots. Like, just because your score is high in the second quarter doesn't mean jack shit. It means about, it's not how much money you make, it's how much you keep. And China's, short-term thinking and chasing the short money by fraud and by hook and crook is now paying, negative dividends because at the end of the day, no one trusts you, including your own people. And for my family, this is kind of interesting. The Wang clan, the ancestral home is in Dongguan, which is like a region of the Guangdong province. It's right on the water, and this is kind of like China's Detroit, the manufacturing capital. And it's devastation. Like 4 million people have fled the city. The real estate market has collapsed. It's nuts. Um, and then pivoting to the northern side of China with Beijing, Xi Jinping is in dire straits and he's holding out in his 1 million square foot fortress outside of Beijing all day. And yeah, Beijing also wants to crack down on airdrop use in general because protesters have used that or activists have used that to spread messages from a peer-to-peer standpoint. What else is happening? European supermarket chains are pulling out of China like there's no tomorrow. The Rocket Force now has effectively in their leadership command no one with any nuclear experience, and everyone's been purged effectively. And they're importing Air Force and Navy personnel to fill the gaps, and it's just not working because skilled labor at this level is still skilled labor, and you can't just willy-nilly, make these teams overnight. What else? What else? Jack Ma is in serious jeopardy. He's losing control of his company, lock, barrel, and stock. It's just game over for him. Let's look at Alibaba stock. It is forming a new low at the moment and still heavy outflows. But yeah, this is the ADR, so it's a little bit slower than what's happening overseas. But yeah, it's definitely in trouble. Let's look at our Panda Tech watch list and look at the other players involved. So we got Tencent, Pinduoduo here, Alibaba, Baidu, Weibo, which is the messaging app, Bilibili, which is like a video platform. Yeah, a lot of these folks are in trouble except Pinduoduo, which is living off Temu money. But for everyone else, they're in trouble. And we can look at Chinese large cap stocks. Let's look at FXI really quick. And yeah, this was one of the worst performing assets of 2023. So, and 2023 was just a warm up. The real fireworks haven't even started yet. So yeah, more to come. And then if we go to CWeb, Chinese tech stocks, it's almost the same curve. And if you want a little bit more leverage, here's KWeb. And very basically the same thing. So yeah, it's devastation. Yeah, and then here's Baidu, which is a little bit more stable. This is the Google clone there. But yeah, Alibaba is the next major domino to fall. And yeah, what else is happening? Oh, the defense minister is in the process of defecting, it looks like. This is the tall, skinny, lanky, ectomorph looking guy. This guy. So he was the last central command officer with actual nuclear experience, and now he's been dismissed in the Rocket Force, or sorry, the Rocket Group, Rocket Force purge, and yeah, if he ends up on U.S. soil, that would be really interesting. So we'll keep our eyes peeled for that. What else? China's finally reaching the end of its liquidity crisis because they're not even paying their soldiers. They're having reductions in wage pay, and if you know anything about the military, you don't go there to get rich. Wages for the enlisted and lower officer corps are peanuts, realistically. So yeah, they're definitely in trouble. Oh, sorry.
They feed you.
Kind of, right?
They gave you a place to sleep.
Hopefully. But yeah, and then here's the official FDI numbers, and it is an all-time low. No surprises there. And yeah, the international business community has lost faith in China, and trust is important. And yeah, game over. So we're watching history in the making. Like this is kind of like in 1989 when the Berlin Wall was falling, and yeah, you're seeing this right in front of your eyes. So
Or Japan falling apart.
oh yeah, as well, yeah. So very exciting. And then let's take a look at Taiwan news. And again, Xi Jinping needs some sort of a unifying action to quell the civil unrest of China. And the only options is to invade Taiwan, realistically. Because when all else fails, warfare, right? What's the von Clausewitz quote? War is politics. War is politics by other means. War is extension. The quote. Oh, sorry. War is the continuation of policy with other means. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Back to the article. Is this? Oh, sorry. This is something else. Okay. Let's see. So the election is in a day and a half. It's the 13th in Taiwan. So it looks like there's two main parties. It's the Nationalist Party, the Kuomintang, which is pro-China, and then there's the DPP, which is anti-China. And let's look at the latest polling numbers. Hey, take care, Ed. Okay. All right. So the majority is the DPP, which is the Green Party. And let's see, there was an independent party which was headed up by the Foxconn guy, Mr. Guo, but he pulled out about a month ago. Looks like I don't see a lot of polling data here. Okay, well, anyway, we'll report on the results by next week for sure. And let's see. Here's some sentiment data on China. Where's the quote? Oh, here we go. Asia predictions for 2024. Share of Asian respondents predict this will happen in 2024. Japan ending decade of negative interest. I don't know how this is going to happen, but sure. China economic growth continuing to slow. North Korea's first nuclear test since 2017. China's 5 nanometer microchip development. Like, how? You don't have the machines to do this. BYD challenging Tesla by entering the US market. Man, fire marshals are going to have a field day with this. More Asian countries making same-sex marriage legal. That's super gay. Myanmar military regime collapsing. Who cares? Modi losing an Indian election. I don't know anything about this. Maybe KS or Ross can enlighten us. When is the Indian election season? Wait, let's see. This Modi, when's his term up? He's been there since 2014. Ross, KS, do you guys know? I'm sure you guys are more on top of this than me. I guess we'll know once it bubbles up in the news cycle. But yeah. Let's go back to our other predictions. Okay, yeah. Those are I mean that's the key survey data at the moment. And let's go back to our notes. Oh, that's it. Okay, cool. Let's run our poll. We're a little bit over time, but we can call it here, or we can look at anything you guys want. I have a hard stop at 12:30. But yeah, let me restart the poll. Relaunch poll. Okay, it is back up. So do you predict the S&P will be which direction by next Thursday? If you could please vote. So we're giving this a 7-day time horizon. So bullish, sideways, or bearish? And we'll ask Mr. Anti-Inflation Poodle what he thinks. What do you think, Kola? Bearish, sideways, or bullish? Probably sideways, huh? Okay. Kola says sideways. Oh, thanks, Kay. It's 5-year cycle. So 2019. So 2024. Okay. Okay, cool. All right. Thanks for voting, guys. Let me share the results. So we got 33% bullish, 50% sideways, and 17% bearish. So we had a conversion from one bearish vote to one more bullish from the starting poll earlier today. All right, cool. And with that, let me stop the recording and we can look at anything else